Another day of evidence put before the commission being disputed.
I was requested by Mr. Gavin Watson to make a payment for Mr. Smith's daughter to study at Agrizzi University.
Last year, former Bosasa COO Angela Agrizzi said the money he gave to Smith was not a loan and came from Bosasa.
So help me God.
Thank you.
Why would you go and borrow money from a company that is clearly involved, that is reported to have been involved in corruption?
But Smith told a different story. He testified that he had a loan from Agrizzi and not Bosasa, and claimed there had been no terms and conditions attached to the loan agreement. He said the money was meant to pay for the university fees for his daughter overseas.
On your version, this payment was in terms of a loan, a verbal loan agreement that you concluded with Mr. Agrizzi in 2015. On his version, this was corruption.
I don't believe that there was a instruction from Bosasa, if you can call it Bosasa, to pay this money. My loan was with Mr. Agrizzi and not Gavin Watson.
Smith's testimony was further challenged.
When you saw this, you see it's a car accident settlement. It did not worry you that this does not come as a loan or from Mr. Agrizzi, it comes as a car accident settlement.
I never noticed that, Chairperson, and if I did, I at the time didn't reflect it. I must be honest, I didn't reflect upon it at the time, Chairperson.
At this point, Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo expressed shock about the level of corruption around personal protective equipment, while the country was still finding answers to state capture.
If you think about the fact that this commission has been sitting since 2018, hearing evidence of wrongdoing and corruption and so on, you would not think that the kind of corruption that we are told about in regard to PPE would be happening. But it's like people say, nothing will happen. So we can just continue as normal, you know.
And another benefit from Bosasa.
You don't dispute this, that Bosasa installed security cameras at your place?
On at least 3 other occasions, Chairperson, I had asked the late Gavin Watson to provide me with the invoice because the job had been done. So it was not that it was a freebie. I had requested for an invoice from Gavin Watson, which was never forthcoming, Chairperson.
Meanwhile, a food for thought for members of parliament, cabinet members, and the presidency.
If Mr. Agrizzi's evidence before this commission is true, or some of it, if it is true, one gets the impression that Bosasa may have wanted to capture some people in parliament, legislature, some people in cabinet, and even the president during President Zuma's time. I'm saying this because they've given evidence, Mr. Agrizzi gave evidence about alleged payments that he said were being made by Bosasa to the Jacob Zuma Foundation through Mr. Dumieni, that if I understand Mr. Agrizzi's evidence correctly, were meant to for the then president. And then of course he has given evidence about some people, some ministers. He has given evidence about people in the legislature. It may well be that if his evidence is true, Bosasa sought to do this.
The commission will resume next week.
We adjourn.
Ntlantla Kgathlane, SABC News, Johannesburg.
Stage 2 load shedding is underway around the country and will continue until 10 o'clock tonight. The power utility says the system remains vulnerable and unreliable. Stage 2 load shedding will also be in effect tomorrow from 8 a.m. until 10 p.m. Eskom says this is necessary in order to replenish the emergency generation reserves that were depleted during the week.
The special rapporteur on the right of everyone to the enjoyment of the highest attainable standard of physical and mental health. Congratulations on your appointment.
It's fantastic. I think to be entrusted and given the responsibility of such a big mandate is something that I don't take lightly. The biggest role as a special rapporteur on health is to advise the UN on the global trends that are emerging. So that work continues.